Hi everyone and welcome back to Gina C Creates. Today I'm going to show you how to make my Hawaiian paper flower bundle. I have been getting a lot of requests to do a video tutorial, so I finally got a chance to do it. I'm going to be using my Cricut along with some cardstock. I'm going to be using an accent foil gold. You're going to need some masking tape and your hot glue gun. I'm using a standard grit mat. It's kind of dull. You don't want it too sticky for your cardstock. Once you have the file downloaded, you're going to right click and hit extract all and just save it to the same location. Inside the download folder, you will find additional folders because this is my bundle. So you'll have a folder with the hibiscus, the leaves, and the plumerias. And then of course my SVG license, whether you downloaded it free or paid. For the hibiscus flowers, you'll have a large, a small, and a mini, and then it'll have the size of the final flower right next to it. And then inside the folder, you'll find the SVG file along with the printable PDF. In case you don't want to use your cutting machine, you can just print the template. So I'm just going to start uploading the SVG file to Cricut Design Space. So I uploaded the mini first. And your size should be 9.5 in width, and the petal should be 2.8 inches tall. And this will make a 4-inch hibiscus flower. So next I'm going to upload the small flower, and I'm just going to drop the SVG into Design Space. And then I'm going to save it and add it to my canvas. And this SVG file should upload the 22, and when you ungroup it, your flower petal should be 8 inches tall. Yes, 8 inches. And then I'm just going to change the color because I want my small flower to be purple. And then I'm going to change the center to a darker purple, but I'm also going to cut the large paper flowers, so I am going to zoom out so I can upload and add that to my canvas as well. So I'm going to go back to the large folder, find the SVG file. It should have an internet icon, and then you just drop that into Design Space, save it to your library, and then add it to your canvas. And this SVG should be sized the 27.88 inches in width. Then I'm just going to ungroup the SVG so I can select each petal. So you just right click, hit ungroup, and then your petal should be 9.88 inches tall for your large paper flower, and that will make a flower roughly 15 to 16 inches wide. And then next we're going to finish uploading the rest of the bundle. So you just go back to upload. And next we're going to upload the leaves SVG file. The leaves also come with a printable PDF, so you could cut by hand if you would like to do it that way. But I'm going to show you how to do it with the Cricut. So you just add it to your canvas, and these are already sized to fit on a 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. We can ungroup it and select each leaf, and we could go up to the color palette to change it to match your theme. And next I'm going to upload the plumeria flower, and we're just going to hit the SVG again and drop it into Design Space and save it to your canvas. And it is going to upload 9.8 in width, and then you can ungroup it, and your petals should be 4.1 inches long, and this will make a 6 to 6.5 inch flower. So everything looks good, and now we have all our pieces in Design Space, so we'll be ready to cut. You could send it to the mat, and I like to change my paper size material to what I'm working with, which is 8.5 by 11, and I want all these to cut on one sheet, so you can definitely move these around to get them to cut on one sheet. So I'm just going to move my last petal and turn it this way so I can cut 5 to a sheet. And the same thing with my stem of the center. I'm just going to add it all to one sheet of cardstock by moving it to the same mat and making sure they don't overlap. And then I'm just going to change the paper size for this one to the 8.5 by 11. And then my leaves look fine, ready to cut. This one was actually a mistake. We don't need that mat. And that one looks fine as well. And then you have all your other mats for each petal. And then for the center, for the large, you're going to need a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. And then the rest will cut on the 8.5 by 11. So now you're ready to cut on Cardstock Plus. I'm just going to use some blue painter's tape to hold down my cardstock onto my mat so I won't get it to shift, because I do like using a dull mat for my cardstock. So every time I lift it off, it won't be that hard and it won't stick or rip. So these just fall right off. So once you have those all cut out, you could get a pair of scissors and cut about 1 inch in from the bottom. And then you can move on and cut your next mat. Remove your cardstock. Make sure it's clear from debris on top of the mat, and then just lay down your next sheet. And now I'm cutting my gold center for the stems. And those just pop right off as well. And then you could just set all your stuff to the side, keeping it organized so you don't lose any pieces. So next I'm just cutting out my mini paper flowers, and I just need 1 sheet for all the petals, and I'm going to stack them and use a pair of scissors to cut about 1/2 inch in to the flower from the bottom of the petal. And then next I'm going to cut out my tropical leaves, and you just need 1 sheet each for the leaf. And you can cut and make as many as you want depending on your project. Next, I'm going to be cutting my small and large paper flower. You're going to need 5 sheets each for the petals, and you're going to need 1 sheet for the paper flower center star. But for the large one, you're going to need a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock to get it in one piece. And then you're going to stack all of the petals together and use your scissors to cut in 2 to 3 inches from the bottom. And now we're going to begin to assemble all our pieces. We have 3 hibiscus flowers, we have 2 leaves, and then we have 1 plumeria. So I'm going to start with the large paper flower, and I'm just going to use a regular pencil that has smooth edges, and I'm just going to curl over the top of the petals, and then I am going to overlap the bottom to make that petal pop up. So we're going to just use our strip of hot glue and lap it over and push it together. And you're just going to continue this process for all 5 of the petals. We're just going to overlap it, and the more you overlap is the higher your flower petal is going to curl. So if you want more dimension, you can overlap those 2 bottom flaps all the way, and it will get your petal to stand up more. And then after you have all of your petals curled and glued at the bottom, we could begin to assemble. So right in the corner on the right hand side, you're just going to put a dab of glue, and then you're going to lay the next petal over. And then you're just going to repeat that process all the way to the end. And then you don't have to worry about the hole in the middle of the flower because it's going to be covered by the paper flower center. And then I just apply some hot glue to the center of the paper flower. I just go around the hole. You don't really need to go up the flower petals. And then you push down. And you don't need to worry about gluing down the edges as long as the center is attached. We just apply some hot glue to our stem, and now you're done. with the large paper flower. So I'm going to show you it's around 15 to 16 inches in width. And then next we're just going to make the small paper flower, and we're going to do it the same way, but for this one I am curling the petals in instead of going out. So you're just going to take your pencil and you're going to put it on the inside of your petal and curl it over. So the curls are going towards you instead of away. And this just gives your flower a different look. So it depends on how you like it. It's a total preference. And then we're just going to overlap the bottom edges with some glue and making them curl up. And then after we have all those done, we can assemble the whole flower by adding glue to the corner of the bottom of the right hand side of the petal. So it's just going to go all the way around, making sure you evenly space it. And then we just add the center the same way. So I just wanted to show you both ways on how to curl your petals. I personally like curling them in. I think it gives it a more of a realistic look than having them curled outwards. But it's totally up to you on your preference on how you want to curl your flowers. And this one's sized about 12 inches in width. And then next I am going to take a yellow marker, or you can use whatever kind of dyes you have. And I'm just going to add that yellow to the center of the bottom of each petal. And then we're going to curl these on one side only. So I'm going to use the same pencil and I am going to put it on top of my petal and curl it over onto that right hand side where the petal is longer on the bottom. So you just curl it over, and then we are going to overlap those two pieces at the bottom as well. And then we're just curling it one side, so when we put it together, it will look like a plumeria. So for these, when you put them together, you want to make sure you add the glue on the left side, and then you add the petal over. So you're just going to make sure it's all going in the same direction. And you're going to want to butt these close together so where there's not a hole in the center. So you just add that last piece in and it should cover it. And then you could go in with your yellow marker and fill in those spots that you missed. And that one is all done. And this one is sized about 6 inches in width. And I have the small one ready to go. This one is measuring about 4.5 inches. And if you like, you can definitely add some textures to your tropical leaves. I just like to curl up these edges of the leaf where they are cut. And then you can also add a fold line down the middle using a ruler just to give it more texture. I hope everyone enjoyed my video tutorial on how to make my Hawaiian paper flowers. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.